I don't think that they knew, or maybe they did know, but when I was interviewed for my job, it was just kind of like the universe aligned. When I interviewed for my job, I really needed a job. And they hired me, and they didn't know me from anything. And so, strangers that I did not know gave me a job. I can't say that for the elite community or these people that you would have thought would have been willing to lent me a hand over the years. Do not ever be ashamed of working. Do not ever be ashamed of working hard and paying your bills. Number 2, I like my job. Number 3, I have made more authentic connections at this job than I have ever made in any elite hangout that I've ever been with. And certain things were not my correct path, and I've been figuring out my own journey, and I'm very proud of that journey. But I do not normally do videos like this, so I don't even know exactly how to start with this video, so I'm just gonna start and then piece it together. Good morning all. I'm gonna put on my glasses because it is a little bit sunny out. This mess of a building that I live in, you know, the one that's undergoing the 50-year certification and all that. I've done tons of videos about that, but that's not the purpose of this video. But this mess, this is my mess. I work very hard. I wake up, I go to work, I pay my bills. My car has a lot of issues, but again, it is my car. I pay all my bills. My car doesn't have air conditioning, which is a joy. Even though I have paid multiple times to try to get that fixed, but that's a story in itself. In the last 2 days, not in the last couple days, I had unintentionally, there were 2 people that came into my work, and they were there just, you know, as normal patrons, and they happened to come to my job. And instead of it being about them just being out for the day, it really became about me. And they initially went into this place where it was their goal to sort of dehumanize me and make comments basically on the level of, I thought you were going to be this great person in career. The first incident that kind of provoked this response that I'm doing was there was a girl that came into my job, again, unintentionally. And this is someone I knew from back when I was in college. And her remarks out of her mouth was, did you ever become this profession? Did you ever become a lawyer? Did you ever become this or that? She was picking on things that she knew I had an interest in becoming certain fields when I was in college. And certain things were not my correct path, and I've been figuring out my own journey, and I'm very proud of that journey. But instead of just saying hello to me, it was a very much so a my horse is bigger than your horse type of conversation. And did you ever become such and such field? And then a day or so later, I had another encounter with a girl I also went to college with. This girl, I don't think I knew her name then, and I didn't know her name now, but she came up to me in a very insidious way with her mother laughing in the background. It was just bizarre. And she was like, I thought you were going to be a big actress. I thought you were going to, like that song from Bowling for Soup, I thought you were going to be a star. And basically here you are working. And let me be clear. Number 1, I like my job. I've made friends at my job. I've made authentic friends at my job. I grew up in a very different world, and I also have had access to a lot of very elite environments, even though I don't have the wealth to match it. I've gone to the galas with the billionaire developers there and the political people there, and everyone fake smiles with each other, and it never got me anything. If anything, a lot of those people that I met at those events were very fake and very insidious. And I remember even at one time, a very high up connection I had said to me something along the line of, you don't need to work, just be like a good girl and smile, and that's what you should do. And I tried over the years, trying to reach out to a lot of my connections over the years for help with jobs and things, and they responded in the same insidious way. And yes, I have a degree. Yes, I have a secondary degree. But I'm pretty content. I like my job. I like what I do. I've met friends at my job. I've met more authentic friendships and connections and people who have been there for me and spoken to me in an honest way than I ever had trying to befriend people that were fake. There's a lot that I know, especially about one of the girls that came in, and her life is not great at all. You know, she's someone who, when she was 17, I think she had just turned 18, she got with the first guy that she could get with, and he was older than her, and her life has just, you know, I can't imagine that it's ideal. Of course, I didn't say anything like that to her, and I wouldn't say anything like that to her. But to go into someone's job unintentionally and make these insidious comments is, your life must not be very happy, because if you were truly happy, you would just say hello to the person, not I thought you were going to be this successful person and implying here you are. Again, let me iterate, I work very hard. I wake up, I always go to work. I try very hard. Even on days I don't feel well, I go to work. I pay my bills. There is no shame in ever working. That was a line that came from my dad's father's generation, and words that he said a lot. There is no shame in ever working or working hard. Secondly, I like my job. I'm content. I feel like I'm growing and learning, and I feel like I had a lot of growing and learning to still do. I've made connections. I've made friends. There was a day the other day when I was at work and I wasn't feeling well, and one of my coworkers was helping me feel better and all this stuff, and just there for me. And I never had that with the elite community, because they were just about fake smiles. And I don't normally do videos like this, but I feel like I've been doing a lot of reflection on jobs and my life, and it was a good time to do it. I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm happy, I'm content, and I'm very appreciative and grateful of how I've gotten to every step of my journey so far. As I mentioned in some of my previous videos, I struggled a lot growing up. There was a time period when I was very young, even though ironically I came from one of those elite families, because the elitism isn't always about the treatment. I thought I was gonna end up in foster care. In other words, how does a child growing up in an elite community in one of these elite families end up thinking that they are the ones that's gonna end up in foster care? We talked about that in my other videos, and how I thought that was going to happen to me, and how far I've come. I went to school, I graduated with 2 degrees. I worked very hard. I was on a partial scholarship for one of them. I was working in the education field. I thought I was going to become a full-time teacher. That wasn't my path in life. And in a sense, I'm very proud of myself that I've been able to say, this isn't for me, I need to do something else. Then unfortunately, a lot of people end up doing is that they just stick it out. You know, I know so many people in teaching that are just miserable, and it wasn't for me. I did subbing. I thought I was going to do full-time teaching. I technically did an interim full-time teaching thing at a private school. It wasn't for me. And then with the subbing, and there's all these videos on that about how that went downhill. And then I needed a job, because the subbing, which was always in a sense not reliable, took a downturn when we went over to Kelly Education. And I needed a job. And this job that I have now, that I'm so grateful for, where I am full-time, I have benefits, I have friends, they gave me a job when I needed a job. And I don't think that they knew, or maybe they did know, but when I was interviewed for my job, it was just kind of like the universe aligned. When I interviewed for my job, I really needed a job, and they hired me, and they didn't know me from anything. And so strangers that I did not know gave me a job. I can't say that for the elite community or these people that you would have thought would have been willing to lent me a hand over the years, or an opportunity, or even a fair hand. There's many videos I could probably do on that, but my point of the video is that do not ever be ashamed of working. Do not ever be ashamed of working hard and paying your bills. Number 2, I like my job. Number 3, I have made more authentic connections at this job than I have ever made in any elite hangout that I've ever been with. And I would say the same elite hangout that I met some of these people, I don't like these twits that I've met over the years, where you go to one of these galas or these events, and there's a girl there who's helping to host the event, and her family has a little business, and she sits in and she answers the phone, and in reality that's not working. That's your family gave you something that you could basically tell people by word of mouth when you go to these networking events that you work, but in reality you don't. But I'm very grateful and very proud to have a job and to work hard and have the ability to work hard. I'm gonna go eat something now and then get ready to go into my job. But thank you all so much for watching. I don't normally do video responses to things that have happened to me directly, but I thought it was necessary. That I'm very grateful to have a job. I'm very grateful to have employment. So I'm just kind of like hanging out in this section of the mall right now, and then I'm gonna go get something to eat, and then I'm gonna go into my job. But I appreciate you all for being here. Don't be ashamed to work or work hard. In reality, I feel sorry for those people that their high in life is coming from trying to tear other people down. So I'm gonna go eat now. Thank you all for just tuning into this. It's something I've kind of been reflecting on and giving a lot of thought to lately. But quite frankly, I'm very proud of myself and how I've somehow, myself, the universe, gotten through a lot of obstacles. But thank you again for being here, and I will see you soon in my next video. And bye.